Is Gege Akutami colorblind, and does it affect his art? Although I've made about 3 videos talking about this, I haven't made any that were specifically about this, so I wanted to make a video about this specifically and go in more detail because this is one of the most common comments that I get, and one of the biggest pieces of misinformation that I'm seeing. I can't find the original entry in the original page, so I can't say this 100% undeniably. However, in a Shonen Jump article, Gege stated, "Because I'm slightly colorblind and the color chart makes no sense to me, I'm on the verge of giving up on coloring my hair." So we have on record that Gege is slightly colorblind. We don't know anything else at this point. So anyone who says, oh, this is why he changed Itadori's hair color, this is why he changed Hakari's hair color, they're only speculating at this point because nothing has been proven yet. And there are 7 different types of color blindness and more specifically color deficiencies, which also means that we don't know which types of color Gege has trouble perceiving or differentiating, and we don't know to what degree. And I've heard theories say that he has yellow-blue color blindness, and I'm like, okay, that's a great guess, but again, they're just theories. But for me, that doesn't really explain why he went from blonde to pink for Itadori, and then did the opposite for Hakari and went from pink and purple to blonde, and then he went from like blue to pink and purple to back to blue for Mahito. Right now, the pattern is not patterning for me. Being colorblind or having color deficiency doesn't mean that you can't see color. That type of color blindness or monochromatism is really rare, and I wouldn't call that slightly colorblind. Moving on, if you take a look at the part where Gege says he doesn't understand the color chart, I don't take that part too seriously yet, because Gege is also a troll. So I'm not saying that he's necessarily lying, I'm just saying that we need to understand the tone that he always speaks to his audience with. Because there are plenty of people out there who don't have the color wheel memorized, who don't know that red, yellow, and blue aren't the best primary colors, who have never learned color theory, who are still capable and amazing artists. So in the same way that people try to use Gege's art to try and prove that he's colorblind and doesn't know how to use color, I use Gege's art to show that he actually is aware of color. In his most controversial cover, if you will, when it comes to color, you can see Gege using a variety of colors. And it's not just on that cover, but plenty of other covers as well. So that shows me that despite stating that he doesn't understand the color chart, he still understands and perceives color, at minimum. And yes, I've heard plenty of times that the theory is that there's a light shining on Hakari, turning everything purple. It's a fine theory and it could be true, but as an artist and photographer who constantly works with color, for me artistically there's just too much going on that doesn't make sense. So Gege could have meant to do that, I'm just saying that it wasn't the most accurate way to portray it, which is fine because it's art and you can do whatever you want. And nothing's perfect. So okay, then why do the JJK color schemes actually change so much? I don't know, and I think a lot of people have trouble accepting that they just don't know, and we can't know. At least until we what? Have more information. Because Gege changing hair colors doesn't explain why he can make everything else consistent. And it doesn't explain why the inconsistencies happen so randomly. Again, it's all possible and his colorblindness could affect his art, but there are just too many variables that we don't know about. In the list of unknowns, I also hold space for artistic freedom, marketing, and anything else that I couldn't think of. If you've watched the Red JJK by now, you should know that Gege's mind is quite out there. If you've read chapter 260, then you really know how far his mind can go. So maybe he just plays and experiments with color, or he changes his mind. Maybe having an anime adaptation or just thinking about marketing caused him to think about the colors that he's using. Or maybe it was something else altogether. Maybe it was the color blindness. Again, we don't know. So I don't mind speculations and theories, I think they're all welcome. I do mind overconfidence, aggressive ignorance, talking down on people when you really don't know what you're talking about. But hopefully this has been some really good insight for you and sparked some more conversation. And if you have some sort of color deficiency, I'd like to know what your experience is. And I didn't think of what to say, that's the end of the vlog.